Okay, let's unpack this. We've talked before about pushing language to its absolute physical limits.
Right. Moving beyond just grammar rules or vocab
Yeah,
lists.
focusing purely on, how fast and how precisely can you actually make your mouth, your tongue, your lips articulate really complex sound sequences.
And in a previous deep dive, we actually looked at the blueprint for an event designed specifically for this.
The Notebook LM Zungenbrecher Contest 2025.
Exactly. We had that source detailing all the German tongue twisters they plan to use.
And it wasn't just a list. It gave an analysis of why they were difficult, right? The phonetic challenges, the specific sounds, the quick transitions needed.
It was, yeah, a theoretical look at the mechanics of Zungenacrobatic, as they call it, tongue acrobatics.
Love that term. And now, the really interesting part, we have the other half of the story.
Ah, the follow-up.
We've got a transcript from the actual contest event itself.
Yeah.
So we have the blueprint, the theory of difficulty.
And now we see how it played out in the real world, under, serious pressure.
Exactly. So our mission today is to kind of weave these two sources together.
Okay.
Take what we learned about why these specific German tongue twisters should be hard,
Uh-huh.
and see how that difficulty actually showed up when people had to perform them live. On a stage, bright lights, judges watching.
Yeah, we get to see who maybe cracked under that pressure,
Yeah.
who managed to execute perfectly when it really counted.
And what those moments tell us about speech itself, really.
It's the mechanics meeting the performance, theory hitting reality.
Totally. And setting the stage, the transcript paints a vivid picture. This wasn't some small local competition.
No, definitely not.
It describes a brightly lit TV studio, the big, sleek Notebook LM Zungenbrecher contest logo right there on stage, a huge screen behind showing the challenges.
And down in front, the jury. The transcript mentions multiple members, serious faces, just intently focused on every single sound, every syllable. You can almost feel their gaze.
Oh, yeah. And then off to the side, the candidates waiting. The transcript talks about this palpable mix of nervous energy and, fierce concentration on their faces.
I can picture that.
Plus the audience, tears of them, buzzing, ready for this unique linguistic showdown.
And holding it all together, the moderator.
Right, center stage. The transcript captures their energy right from the start, bursting with enthusiasm. Their opening words really set the tone. Herzlich willkommen, liebe Zuschauerinnen und Zuschauer, zum mit Spannung erwarteten Notebook LM Zungenbrecher Contest 2025.
Welcome to the eagerly awaited contest.
Exactly. And then this line. Heute Abend suchen wir die absolute Zungenakrobatik Elite Deutschlands. Tonight we're searching for Germany's absolute tongue acrobatics elite.
Wow. So, yeah, not just a bit of fun. They're looking for the elite.
It immediately raises the stakes, doesn't it? The transcript makes it clear, the lights, the screen, the weight of the jury's stare. It created this environment where performance under intense scrutiny was everything.
Every single sound mattered. There was no room for error, seemingly.
Absolutely. And with that kind of high-voltage atmosphere set up, the contest got rolling pretty quickly.
Round one began. The title in both our blueprint source and the contest transcript was Klassische Zungenbrecher.
Classic tongue twisters.
Right. And as we discussed in our previous deep dive on the blueprint, these are the foundational ones, the well-known twisters. They target common, but still pretty tricky pronunciation hurdles in German.
The ones maybe most people listening might recognize or have even tried themselves. And you know how easily they can trip you up, even without an audience and judges.
For sure.
The moderator even introduced the round college, acknowledging their classics, but specifically pointed out that under the pressure of the cameras and the strict jury, this is where, and I quote, "Trennt sich hier schon die Spreu vom Weizen."
The wheat separates from the chaff.
Exactly. It highlights that just knowing it isn't enough. Familiarity doesn't equal mastery, especially when the stakes are this high.
That's a really good point. Knowing it is one thing. Performing it flawlessly at speed when everyone's listening, that's totally different. These classics might seem simple, but they expose those fundamental articulation weaknesses.
So first candidate up, according to the transcript, Max from Berlin. And you can sense his nerves right away.
Oh, yeah.
The moderator asks if he's ready, and his reply is captured as bereit, so bereit wie möglich.
Yeah.
Ready, as ready as possible.
Classic. The pre-competition jitters.
Totally. His first challenge. Fischer's fished fish. Fischer's Fritz.
Ah, the absolute titan of German tongue twisters. As our analysis source detailed, the main phonetic hurdle here is that rapid, repeated switch between two very different sounds, the F sound and the sh sound.
Right, if F, that is labiodental, right? Top teeth on bottom lip, push air.
Exactly, labiodental fricative. Meanwhile, sh is postalveolar. tongue pulled back a bit from behind the teeth, air pushed through a wider groove further back.
So saying fissures, frische Fischer, really fast means your mouth is doing this incredibly quickly, opposing gymnastics. Lips for F, tongue back for sh. Lips, tongue back.
It's a serious workout for your articulators, and the analysis we looked at specifically highlighted how the repetition of similar words like fissures and fiscia, plus those tricky sounds, especially that Ersch cluster in fissures, it just piles on the cognitive load. It demands really precise speech motor control to stop everything from just blurring together.
So Max's performance. The transcript notes say he spoke it fluently, but with, like Anspannung, slight tension.
Okay. And that's really revealing, isn't it? He didn't actually stumble. He managed the sequence, navigated the F shifts, handled the repetition under pressure.
Yeah.
But that slight tension notation tells you about the effort involved. It wasn't effortless. His mouth muscles were clearly working hard to maintain that clarity and speed, even on this supposedly basic classic.
The pressure made the effort visible.
Exactly. It was a controlled fight against the difficulty.
Okay, so a second twister was completely different. In und herum.
Yeah, this one's tricky in a different way. Our analysis source pointed out the difficulty here isn't big consonant clusters or sounds at opposite ends of the mouth. It's about subtle precision.
How so?
It targets your ability to differentiate between very small, very similar sounding function words and handling tiny vowel shifts and nasal sounds. In versus versus herum.
It sounds simple, but yeah, try saying in herum fast. It's so easy for them to just mush together.
Precisely. In has that relatively open front vowel, needs lip rounding, and ends with that bilabial nasal lips closed, air through the nose briefly.
Right.
Herum adds the 8 sound, another M, different vowel. The challenge is executing those tiny, distinct movements, lips open closed, tongue shifting for vowels, managing nasal airflow for the M's repeatedly, quickly, without blending.
And Max's performance on this one, the transcript says Schaft or Sauber, manages it cleanly.
So, a different kind of challenge. And he showed a different kind of control. He passed the precision test, no blurring, kept those subtle boundaries clear.
It shows good fine motor control in his speech, complementing the more, physically demanding control needed for Fischer's Fritz.
Exactly. Good contrast.
Then, his third for the round, Brautkleid bleibt Brautkleid und Blaukraut bleibt Blaukraut.
Okay, back to consonant clusters. Specifically targeting BR and BL, as our analysis noted. Both start phonetically the same way with that bilabial stop B, lips together stop the air, release.
But right after the B, you've got to hit either an R or an L, which need totally different tongue positions, right?
Totally different. For the German R, the tongue's often further back, sometimes vibrating. For L, the tongue tip goes up right behind the teeth. Air flows around the sides.
So you're going from lips closed to a back-of-mouth R in Brautkleid, then back to lips closed, then a tongue tip L in Blaukraut. The challenge is switching accurately and super fast right after that B.
Speed and accuracy of the switch.
And the transcript notes for Max here, ein leichtes Stolpern beim ersten Blaukraut, aber fängt sich. A slight stumble at the first Blaukraut, but he caught himself.
That stumble is so telling. It happened exactly at the point of maximum phonetic difficulty for this twister, right when he had to nail the Bale cluster, immediately after doing the Bale.
Makes sense.
Differentiating B and BL, quickly selecting and executing the right liquid sound, R or L, after the B, that's the weak spot. The pressure likely just magnified a tiny hesitation or motor planning blip, causing the stumble.
Even though he recovered quickly.
Right, but the moderator pointed it out, and you know the jury marked it down. Even a slight slip counts.
Okay, next up was Anna from Munich, her first one. Der Cottbuser Postkutscher putzt den Cottbuser Postkutschkasten.
Oh, this is a legendary one. It's long, and as our analysis source really zeroed in on, it has that absolute phonetic nightmare hidden inside Postkutschkasten, the killer sequence.
Tschatschke. How do you even say that? Like Chikass in English almost.
The very similar set of movements, yeah. In German, alveolar stop, T, tongue tip behind teeth, stop air, immediately followed by the postal veolar affricate ch, like etch in church, immediately followed by a velar stop K. Back of tongue hits soft palate.
Whoa. Okay, so tongue tip forward, then pulled back, then back of tongue goes up. All boom, 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 3 distinct spots just for ch.
Exactly. It's a tiny, super complex articulatory obstacle course. And you have to do it multiple times in the phrase while keeping up speed and clarity.
So how did Anna do? Transcript says, spoke it schnell, aber deutlich. Quickly, but clearly.
And the moderator's reaction tells the story. Fantastisch. Mit welcher Geschwindigkeit. Fantastic, with such speed.
That's genuinely impressive. Nailing that long, dense word, especially that internal trisc sequence repeatedly at speed.
It shows more than just understanding the movements. It points to a high level of practiced, almost automatic muscle memory. She executed that complex choreography without tripping. Really remarkable agility.
Okay, her next challenge. Zwischenzeitfetchgehensweigen zwischen zwei Schwaben.
Ugh. The cascade of sibilants and affricates. You've got Z, which is like just like and our analysis source specifically flagged the difficulty of keeping these similar hissy and shushy sounds distinct.
Especially that German Z, right? It's not like the English Z. It's that sharp T's sound.
Exactly. It's an affricate, a T stop, followed by a quick S fricative release. Then you have chish, which is T, followed by sh, and just plain sh. The tongue movements are similar enough that under pressure and speed, it's incredibly easy to blur them, swap them, or just make a fuzzy sound.
In Anna's performance, notes say she korrigiert sich schnell am Ende. She corrected herself quickly at the end. The moderator noted the quick recovery, but the transcript says the jury looked serious.
Her self-correction is a perfect live example of the analysis, isn't it? Even with her amazing speed on the Postkutschkasten, the subtle differences needed between W, T's plus W, chish, and sh in quick succession tripped her up momentarily.
Even a quick save shows how easily they can merge.
Exactly. It shows how vulnerable even top performers are to these specific phonetic traps under pressure, just like the source analysis predicted.
The transcript does confirm other classics from our source list were used in round 1, too, covering a whole range of fundamental challenges.
Yeah, things like wenn Fliegen hinter Fliegen fliegen.
And sieben Schneeschipper schippen, der Kaplan klebt, 8 alte Ameisen essen, and Wiener Waschweiber waschen.
And each one targets a specific hurdle we talked about before. Sieben Schneeschipper demands really consistent, clean sh sounds, often right next to S sounds, forcing the tongue to keep hitting that pulled back position accurately.
Der Kaplan klebt tests that rapid switching between different consonant-liquid clusters, KL and PL. Back of mouth K, then L, versus front of mouth P, then L. Fast coordination needed between tongue back, lips, and tongue tip.
Acht alte Ameisen essen plays with vowel consistency and differentiating sounds, starting similarly like and, while throwing in that German cheese sound from the back of the throat. Subtle shifts, lots of repetition.
And Wiener Waschweiber hits that German W sound, lips rounded, kind of like an English V, but not quite often, right next to Schach, demanding quick contrast between lip and tongue movements.
So yeah, round 1, exactly as the transcript shows, really served its purpose as the klassisch Zungenbrecher. Tested those fundamental skills, rapid transitions, differentiating similar sounds, basic clusters, repetition, all under that contest pressure. It definitely started sorting the field.
And speaking of sorting the field, the transcript gives a vivid transition to the scoring right after round 1. The moderator announces the points, and you start to see the impact of those little slips and tensions.
Okay, how did it shake out?
Max got 8 points, Anna got 9, and a candidate named Stefan got 6 points. And the judges specifically noted he stumbled twice on sieben Schneeschipper.
Okay, so the stumbles are being counted, clearly. This is where the abstract difficulty meets the cold, hard reality of judging. Every sound is scrutinized.
And the transcript captures this really human moment. Stefan apparently protests, loud enough to be heard even without a mic. He says something like, Aber ich bin noch nur einmal richtig gestolpert. Das zweite Mal war nur Atem holen. Das ist unfair.
But I only really stumbled once. The second time was just breathing. That's unfair. Oh boy.
And juror 1, maybe the head judge, responds sternly, also audible. Stocken ist Stocken, und die Deutlichkeit litt ebenfalls.
Stumble is stumble, and clarity suffered as well. Ouch, that is strict.
Yeah. The moderator jumps in, tries to smooth it over, reminds everyone the jury's rules are strict. Every slip, every incomprehensible word counts, but tries to give Stefan some hope, saying, Noch ist alles offen. Everything is still open.
Wow, that exchange is so revealing. It just underlines the absolute rigor. It's not just about avoiding total meltdowns. It's about maintaining clarity and intelligibility at speed.
That juror's comment, clarity suffered, is key, isn't it?
Absolutely. Even if Stefan felt it was just a breath, if it broke the flow or made the next sounds less clear, boom, it's an error by their standards. Shows the tiny margins at this elite level, minimal deviations get penalized.
You can definitely feel the tension ratchet up after that. Some people need to make up ground. The transcript mentions a short break before round 2, a chance for everyone to regroup.
And prepare for the next level. which was round 2, titled Bekannte Herausforderungen, Known Challenges.
Right.
Yeah.
Our analysis source suggested these would be a step up. Longer, maybe combining different kinds of difficulty, targeting less common but still recognized pitfalls.
And the atmosphere described in the transcript after the break confirms it. Die Luft ist zum Schneiden dick. The air is thick enough to cut.
Yeah, stakes are higher, some candidates feeling the pressure to catch up.
And stepping into that tension is a candidate named Leonie. Transcript introduces her getting ready for her first challenge of this round. Es klapperten die Klapperschlangen, bis ihre Klappern schlapper klangen.
The rattlesnake one. We looked at this. The challenge isn't just one sound, it's sustaining that kale cluster, mixing it with Schlangen, Schlapper, keeping accuracy over a longer phrase with that internal rhythm and near rhymes. Continuous coordination needed between tongue tip and back of the tongue.
So how did Leonie handle it?
Transcript says, perfekt gesprochen, perfect delivery.
Wow.
And the moderator's reaction was apparently quite strong. Wow, perfect. Die Klapperschlangen klangen nie besser. The rattlesnakes never sounded better.
Okay, that's a statement. Nailing something that demanding perfectly. That shows serious control over sustained, complex articulation.
Her next challenge. Auf den 7 Robbenklippen sitzen 7 Robbensippen, die sich in die Rippen stippen, bis sie von den Klippen kippen.
Ah, the seal colony one. Our analysis source flagged this for extreme sound similarity and repetition. It's just a barrage of R, P, K, S sounds and words like robin clippin', robin sippin', rippin' stippin', clippin' kibbin' that sound almost identical.
It's a test of micro-precision, isn't it? Differentiating words that sound so alike, rapidly switching between subtly different consonants like B and P, keeping the surrounding R, K, sounds clear over and over.
It demands incredible focus on tiny details. So, Leonie's performance.
Transcript notes. Lächelt selbstbewusst, spricht schnell und klar. Smiles confidently, speaks quickly and clearly.
Confidence while speaking that one. That's impressive.
And again, the moderator. Unglaublich. Die Jury ist sichtlich beeindruckt. Unbelievable. The jury is visibly impressed.
Speaking that dense, repetitive monster with speed, clarity, and confidence, yeah, that's rare. It shows mastery over those subtle articulatory differences and the ability to maintain precision despite the cognitive load of all that repetition. It feels like her performance wasn't luck, it was pure skill, meeting the challenge head-on.
The transcript confirms other bekannte Herausforderungen from our source list were used in round 2 as well, pushing candidates in different ways.
Yeah, things like, ist es Nessel nicht. Donkeys don't eat nettles. That one plays on sound similarity and has that tricky palindrome structure, needing careful forward and backward articulation planning.
And Schnecken erschrecken. Snail startle. That one's designed to make you differentiate similar clusters. Schwest plus and schlesch plus sog plus. Tongue has to hit slightly different spots right after the shed, accurately and fast.
Wenn der Benz bremst, when the Benz breaks, focuses on Brie and Z, but has that killer sequence in Brenzlig. B-R-E-N-T-S-L-I-G-E. It's like a mini twister inside one word, needing agile tongue work between front stops, nasals, affricates, liquids.
There was Mischwasserfische fischt. Mixed water fisher fishes. Basically an endurance test repeating a complex, phonetically loaded word demands consistent S sounds in quick succession.
Der Flugplatzspitz, the airport sparrow, requires differentiating similar initial clusters like FL and SP, plus hitting that sharp German T sound.
Yeah.
Tests a range of lip, tongue tip, and back of tongue movements.
Kugel kleine Katzen. Clever little cats. A high density of K sounds mixed with liquids demands rapid switching between K and Klo, similar to Bierbiel, but the stop is further back.
10 Sammelziegen, 10 tame goats. Just a relentless attack of the German Z sound that TS affricate. Tests if you can produce that specific stop fricative cleanly, repeatedly, without fatigue making it sloppy. Real tongue tip precision needed.
And in the ganzen Hunderinde, in the whole dog round. This challenges the German R sound, especially in Gare clusters. Can be tricky, depending on dialect, needs precise control of the back tongue or uvula.
The transcript notes that across round 2, while you had standout performances like Leonie's, the overall difficulty increase meant kleinere Fehler schleichen sich in, smaller errors crept in more often.
Yeah, the audience apparently starts reacting more too, with murmuring at almost perfect performances and a general nervous energy.
Which fits perfectly with the analysis. These known challenges were a definite step up. They combined more hurdles, were longer, demanded more sustained or intricate accuracy, leading naturally to more of those subtle slips the transcript describes.
And after round 2 came another cut. The transcript moves to the qualification for the final round. Strict rule, Only the top 5 candidates advanced.
Okay, so who made it?
Well, Stefan, who protested earlier, and 2 other candidates were eliminated. The transcript notes the enttäuschte Gesichter, disappointed faces.
Tough break.
And interestingly, there's another mention of ein weiterer leiser Protest über die Punkte, another quiet protest about points which the moderator apparently quickly dismissed. Maybe sensing emotions were high, but needing to keep things moving.
Adds that layer of drama, doesn't it? And the perceived fairness or just the sheer strictness of the judging. Maybe candidates felt they nailed round 2, but got dinged for tiny errors they didn't even notice themselves under pressure.
Could be. It definitely builds massive anticipation for the final round, though.
For sure. Only 5 left, everything on the line now.
And the moderator really amps it up, declaring for the finalists, it's now die ultimative proofing, the ultimate test.
Which brings us neatly to round 3. Speziell designierte Herausforderungen neu und extra schwer. Specially designed challenges, new and extra hard.
Yeah, both our analysis source and the transcript really emphasize this. These were not classics, not even well-known tough ones. They were crafted specifically for this contest, engineered to push articulation right to the breaking point.
Designed to be brutal, basically.
It seems like it. The transcript shows an example immediately displayed on the big screen. Schluchzen des Schwalben, schlüpfen schlappend, schullen schweben, schützen schwerelos. Sobbing swallows slip sluggishly, shimmering, floating, protectively weightless.
Oof.
And the description noted in the transcript explains why it's brutal. Viele Schafte verbunden mit Lidun sowie schwierigen Konsonantenklustern. Lots of sounds combined with L and W, plus difficult consonant clusters.
Okay, so it's not just one type of difficulty, it's stacking several of the hardest things together. You've got the sustained fricative, tough on its own. Then you immediately pair it with L, schlicksende, schleppen, schleppen, schillend, and the German W sound, schweben, schwereless.
Forcing really rapid, precise moves between that pulled-back tongue position, the tongue tip L, and the lip-rounded W.
And it's the clusters schlr demanding distinct, quick articulations right after the sh. It takes the basic cluster challenges from round 1 and the combined sound difficulties from round 2 and just dials them up to 11 in one long phrase.
Leaves almost no room to breathe or simplify, right?
Yeah.
Constantly hitting precise, difficult target sounds and transitions.
Exactly. So who attempted this monster?
Max, who showed that slight tension back in round 1. The transcript notes he is sichtlich nervös, visibly nervous. As he starts, he kämpft sichtlich, fights visibly.
Oh, wow. Fights visibly. That says a lot.
And then stolpert bei Schellen schweben, stumbles at shimmering floating.
Right in that section mixing sh, L, and W. It perfectly shows how these design twisters targeted specific complex movements, and even a tiny loss of control under pressure leads to a full stumble.
And the moderator's comment drives it home. Ein Stolpern, Max. Das war hart. Dieser Zungenbrecher verzeiht nichts. Stumble, Max. That was hard. This tongue twister forgives nothing.
Unforgiving is right. These weren't just hard. They were engineered to break you if your control wasn't absolutely perfect.
The transcript lists several other of these extra heavy twisters used in the final, each with its own unique blend of phonetic torture, described by the analysis points noted right there.
Okay, what else did they throw at them?
There was Crunchwingende, Klempne, Klemmt, Klimpende, Klappen, Klammheimlich, described as having many K and K sounds.
Ah, so hitting that velar stop K constantly, often paired with L, moving the back of the tongue up, then immediately coordinating with the tongue tip for L, rapid fire, sentence long, that needs incredible precision and stamina from the back of the tongue.
Then sechsschattige Schiffe schippern schleichend, noted for the accumulation of shis and sief sounds.
Stacking sibilants and complex schlusters, moving between the simpler S, tongue tip near the ridge, and the pulled back sh, often with stops like P or liquids like O right after the shish, constant demanding shifts between different fricative types and combos.
We saw fünf flüchtige Füchse funkeln furchtbar, fangen flinke Fische, which apparently had an abundance of F sounds combined with L and R.
Pushing that labiodental F to the limit, often followed immediately by L or R, F, F, R, demands constant lip-teeth interaction, then rapid tongue engagement for the liquids.
There's zwölfsoddelige Ziegen zwischen Zischen, Zerensate Zitronen, with its high concentration of ZNCs.
Relentless test of that German Z, the sharp T's affricate. Execute that precise stop fricative sequence over and over, sentence long, without it weakening or becoming just S. Needs incredible tongue-tip stamina and precision.
The challenge, dreidrollige Drachenbrollen, drohen dünn and drehen durcheinander, focused on repeated dir sounds.
That specific doctor cluster requires coordinating the alveolar D stop with the German R, back tongue or uvular. That combo can easily distort if timing and position aren't perfect, especially with repetition.
Also, glitschige Gänse, gleiten, gleisend, grölend, grolend, featuring many G and G sounds.
Similar to KKL, but voiced. Constant back tongue G stops, immediately transitioning to L or coordinating with R, GR. Voicing adds another layer of complexity to maintain speed and precision.
Knifflige Knöpfe, Nester, Narren, Nister, Nap, testing a sequence of K and K sounds.
Requires moving between nasal plus stop, KN and just the stop, often with liquids. That transition from nasal airflow through the nose to oral stop, air blocked, immediately followed by a backstop. Complex coordination of the velum, tongue, and airflow needed.
Rahmen, Rauschen, 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 Bruden, Rasch, described as testing strong R sounds.
Pure endurance and control tests of the German R. Whatever the speaker's specific R is, trill, fricative, approximate, maintaining a strong, consistent, non-substituted R through a sentence full of them, often in clusters, takes sustained effort. And finally,
Schwungvolle Schwäne, schwimmen, schwanken, schwingen, schwungvoll, combining schwung.
blending different shoe type sounds and adding the W forces rapid changes between the basic schick position, the lip-rounded schwur, and the simpler S. Tests quick, accurate reshaping of mouth and tongue for different fricatives and approximates close together.
Wow. Just hearing those descriptions, you realize these weren't just slightly harder. They were engineered, almost like surgically designed, to find and exploit potential weak spots in articulation.
Absolutely. Whether it's rapid switching, executing complex sequences, or maintaining precision on one difficult pattern over time.
And the transcript really captures that intensity during the final attempts. Jeder Versuch ist ein Kampf gegen die eigene Zunge. Every attempt is a fight against one's own tongue. You just picture the effort, the focus.
Yeah.
The audience reactions noted are fascinating too. Lacher in Publikum bei missglückten Versuchen. Laughs at failed attempts.
A very human reaction to seeing someone struggle with something so hard.
But balanced by Raunen, by fast, perfekten Leistungen, murmuring at almost perfect performances, showing respect for the skill involved.
Right.
And angespannt is still. Tense silence when a candidate is really focusing, showing that shared suspense.
Yeah.
All while the jury is just constantly taking notes, their focus totally unwavering.
It sounds like a real high-wire act for every single finalist. And crucially, the transcript explicitly states that for scoring in this final round, jeder kleine Fehler zählte in dieser letzten Runde doppelt.
Every small error counted double.
Exactly. That explains why even a brief stumble like Max's on Schiller and Schwibend, even if he recovered fast, was so damaging to his score. These challenges left zero margin for error, and the scoring amplified any tiny imperfection.
Which brings us right to the climax, the award ceremony, Siegerrunde.
The big reveal.
The moderator transitions, acknowledging how incredible the final round was, stating these speziell designierte Herausforderungen haben unseren Finalisten alles abverlangt, demanded everything from our finalists.
Sets the stage for the results. He announces they're in, and it was denkbar nap. Conceivably close.
You can feel the tension. And again, the transcript includes these little human details. It notes a candidate looking visibly nervous, maybe Anna, who did so well earlier, but then faced round 3's difficulty. And there's another whispered complaint overheard.
Ich verstehe nicht, warum ich bei dem Raben Zungenbrecher so viele Punkte verloren habe. Der war doch fast fehlerlos.
I don't understand why I lost so many points on that Raven one. It was almost flawless.
Those moments are so key, aren't they? They highlight the incredibly high bar for flawless at this level. What felt almost flawless to the speaker under pressure likely had those tiny hesitations, slips, or slight clarity issues the jury was trained to catch.
Especially with errors counting double.
Exactly. Minimal imperfections could sink you in that final round. It shows the difference between just being highly skilled and being truly elite, a Zungen acrobat.
Okay, and then the drum roll. The moment of truth arrives.
Who took the crown?
The moderator announces the winner, and according to the transcript, it's Leonie.
Leonie. Interesting.
The reason given, she delivered the most consistently and mastered the hardest twisters.
That makes sense, thinking back. Her round 2 performances on Klapperschlangen and Robin Klippen, the ones she nailed perfectly and confidently, those demanded exactly that. Sustained complex articulation and micro-precision on similar sounds. It seems that specific skill set, that ability to maintain control and clarity under duress on intrinsically difficult sequences, was precisely what let her conquer the even more extreme, specially designed challenges of round 3.
So her earlier perfect scores weren't just highlights. They were evidence of the underlying control she needed for the final.
Seems likely. The transcript describes the winning scene. Audience cheers, confetti, Leonie looking radiant accepting the trophy. The other candidates congratulate her, but the note adds, manche mit einem Anflug von Enttäuschung über ihre eigene Punktzahl, aber professionell.
Some with a hint of disappointment about their own score, but professional about it. A very realistic mix of emotions.
For sure. Competition stuff.
The moderator delivers the final words, congratulates Leonie, and with appropriate fanfare, declares her tongue the fastest and most precise in the land.
Bringing the intense competition to a close. Wow. Based on the transcript and what we know about those twisters, it sounds like a truly remarkable display of human linguistic skill, pushed right to its physical and cognitive edge.
So bringing this all back to you, the listener, what does seeing this contest, this really high-stakes, real-world application of linguistic difficulty, actually tell you about speech and articulation? We went from the theoretical breakdown, why sounds are hard, to seeing it play out live, watching people succeed or stumble on those exact challenges under massive pressure.
Yeah, what we learned, I think, is that fluency isn't just about knowing words. It's an incredibly precise, demanding physical act. Seeing Max's tension on Fischer's Fritz or his visible struggle on the Schlussende Schwalben shows that even tiny lapses in control become critical under pressure.
And Anna's quick self-correction on the sibilants, it highlights how easily similar sounds can merge, and that recovery takes split-second motor adjustments.
Right, and that unforgiving scoring, especially errors counting double in the final, it just underscores the mind-boggling precision needed for elite, rapid articulation. Every tiny slip, every moment clarity dips, it impacts everything. This wasn't just about avoiding mistakes, it was about executing complex motor patterns with near absolute perfection at speed.
We've really taken a deep dive into this notebook LM Zungenbrecher Contest 2025 using both the technical blueprint of the twisters and the live narrative from the event transcript. We looked at the structure, the escalating challenges from classics to these engineered extremes.
The performances, seeing who cracked and who showed incredible control, and the strict judging that decided the winner.
It really makes you appreciate the sheer physical dexterity involved in just everyday speech, doesn't it? Let alone speech performed at speed or under stress like this.
Definitely. It's a testament to what the human vocal tract is capable of when trained to that level. It shifts our view of speaking from just a mental act to an intensely physical one, almost like, well, an athletic performance.
Which kind of leaves us with a final thought for you to mull over. Think about specific sounds or sequences or patterns in your own language, whatever you speak, that you sometimes trip over. Do any of them feel like the kinds of challenges we saw here? Rapid switches, similar sounds needing differentiation, tricky clusters, sustained repetition.
And maybe consider the specific types of torture twisters from this contest. The kale shade density, the Schliss pileup, the relentless zits, those engineered Schlischblends. Which of those types of challenges from this German contest do you think would be toughest for you to master, even just thinking about similar patterns in your own language?
Maybe even try saying a few of the German ones slowly, just feel the physical movements involved. It's quite something.
It really is.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Notebook LM Zungenbrecher Contest 2025.
We hope exploring this gave you a new perspective on the incredible physical and cognitive precision behind fluent speech and maybe a newfound respect for the champions of tongue acrobatics.